Measure 110 was not very effective.
It's super easy for them. They have like their dealer on Snapchat and things like that.
Our brains aren't fully developed yet, so using that drug is going to stop that development.
Under Measure 110, Oregon became the first state to decriminalize the use of small amounts of almost all hard drugs for personal use. The measure intended to expand funding for and access to addiction treatment services. It uses tax revenues from the state's marijuana industry, as well as from expected savings from a reduction in arrests and incarcerations. But today, Oregon is experiencing an immense increase in drug addictions. Welcome to Kids Speak Out Oregon. I'm Barbara Harrison. Proponents of the new Oregon drug program think that the previous laws were punitive and not effective. What we have seen since the new law has taken effect, though, some point out, is a proliferation of drug dealers, needles everywhere, a rapid increase of deaths due to drugs, a significant rise in thefts, and a number of people on the streets high on drugs. But on the other hand, some people believe that legalizing drugs with the proper kind of treatment is a preferable way of doing it, as an alternative to incarceration. Does it need to be either or? What's the real answer? Let's meet the young people who are here to share their thoughts with us on the legalization of drugs in Oregon. Welcome to our panel, and why don't you introduce yourselves to our audience?
My name is Max. I'm 14 years old, and something that I really love to do is play gymnastics, or do gymnastics.
Okay, thank you, Max. EJ?
My name is EJ. I'm 14 years old. Something I like to do is play football.
Great.
Hi, I'm Hadley. I'm 10 years old, and I love to dance.
Great. Isaiah?
Hi, I'm Isaiah, and I love to wrestle.
Great.
I'm Cara. I'm 16, and one thing I love to do is travel.
I'm Arjun. I'm 16, and one thing I love to do is train in MMA.
I'm Jada. I'm 18, and something that I love to do is sing and dance.
Wonderful. We're so glad you're here with us. Everybody ready to talk about this subject that a lot of people in the state of Oregon are talking about right now. How effective do you think this program is? Hadley, what do you think?
Measure 110, the act that legalized certain drugs, was not very effective in Oregon. The intent was very well-meaning. However, when things got set up, it wasn't as effective.
Anybody agree with that?
I think that they had the good right intentions and all that, but the problem was they didn't have a good rehabilitation program going on. If you look at Portugal right now, Portugal in 2001, I think, they passed a bill which basically decriminalized, not legalized, but decriminalized all drugs. And what they saw with that was that they saw more people going to rehab and less overdoses and less deaths because of these drugs. And I think if we adopted a more similar system that Portugal did, because it's already worked, I think we'd see better results.
Yeah, because they say that the criminalization of drugs was not working, that people were being taken to jail. They had court cases that went after that cost a lot of money, cost the state a lot of money. And so decriminalizing was supposed to mean there would be money, maybe tax money, especially for marijuana, coming in to provide drug programs for people who were hooked on drugs. Max, what do you think?
I think that there needs to be like more help with like people who are on drugs, but I feel like that the stuff that we've been trying to do hasn't been very helpful.
Well, I want to ask this question, and it doesn't mean that you know this from personal experience, but how easy is it to get drugs in Oregon? How easy is it for young people like you?
You can get it really anywhere because of the environment that you're around.
You say you can get them? They're out there and easy to get?
Yeah.
Are there people on the streets who are offering you drugs to buy?
Yeah, it's pretty much everywhere you can see it. They'll be at a bus stop. Hey, do you want this? Do you do this? And it's really just your decision to say yes or no.
How do you deal with that? Any of you? How do you deal with that when somebody comes up saying, you want to buy some of this?
Tell them no and kind of like put my headphones in and just ignore them.
And just keep moving?
Yeah.
And they don't usually follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Hadley?
Going back to how it's easy to get drugs, now drugs are very easy to make in laboratories because they're using chemicals that even make drugs stronger. So you can buy drugs for $2. And what we see now is that people are getting like 20 a day. And to get this money, they're stealing and they're tricking the system just to buy drugs.
And anybody else notice that?
I don't know much about like actually getting drugs, because I haven't actually experienced that, but I know and I've heard about like friends of friends and things like that. It's super easy for them. They have like their dealer on Snapchat and things like that. And you see it all in schools. I don't know much about the streets, but in schools, especially in my school, if you go inside the bathroom, you can smell the weed, you can smell the vape. It's very common in schools and things like that. And it's really easy for the kids to get it because it's just on Snapchat. They have their dealer on Snapchat and things like that.
So at what age, even if you haven't experienced it yourself, at what age do you think kids start using drugs for the most part?
Well, I'm in middle school. I'm in 8th grade, and there's 6th graders at my school that are are getting hold of drugs that are like really easily. Like they can just hit up someone, and it's pretty sad because they're destroying their lives at such a young age when they could be, living their kid life.
Do you think that there's drug sales going on in school?
Sometimes there is, yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever see that happening?
No, but I hear about it, and I sometimes talk to the people that are doing it. But I've never done any of that or engaged with it, but I do have some friends who have done that before.
And how do they generally approach a kid? How do they approach you? And do they just assume for some reason that you might be interested?
It's not always adults. It's kind of like kid-to-kid contact. That's really what it is. It's the kids who can get it from the people that they are living with, or they have connections, and they'll go to other kids and say, hey, you want to try this, or you want to do this, do that, because it's just money for them.
Well, how easy is it to say no? If it's somebody you know who's a friend and they say, hey, you want to try some of this?
Oh, peer pressure is very real. So I can see how some people may feel like they need to do drugs just because their friends do them. And I don't think that's the case because, it's destroying your body.
Go ahead,
I
Arjun.
have acquaintances and people at school that I know, and I've asked them before, why do you do this? Why do you smoke weed? Why do you vape? And the thing is, they think it's fun, and they don't actually realize the damage that it does to your body. Well, very recently, I asked one of my acquaintances, well, why do you do this? They were like, well, I do sports, so I'm healthy. And that's not really an excuse or anything. And they just think it's fun it's just a fun thing to do, and they don't really fully understand the damage this could do to you in the long run.
Do you think peer pressure has a lot to do with it? If somebody that you know offers you something, you don't want to say no because maybe their feelings will be hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think especially in high school, drugs are a very social thing. And so if your friend is doing drugs and they're going to try to convince you to also do them just as a social thing. That's just
How
what
hard is it to say no? It's probably pretty hard, isn't it? Especially if somebody you like, so who's a friend.
But I feel like we all have a voice, so we can all use our voice to reject it and tell them no. If they keep pushing you to do something, maybe that's not someone that you consider a friend.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point to make. And sometimes it's hard to walk away from somebody who you think is an important person at school.
I don't have any personal experience, but I can assume that those people selling drugs, that is where they're getting their money. And so when they approach you, that is what their lives depend on. And so it's really important to them, and it's really hard.
So they push pretty hard when they're
Yeah.
trying to get you to buy it. But suppose it was a friend. Suppose it was a friend who came up and said, you ought to try this. It's not going to hurt you. What would you say?
Well, I have seen firsthand, well, not exactly firsthand, but I'm educated on what drugs can do, and I think that I could have the power to say no.
But you feel like you know what can happen, so you have no problem saying no. EJ, how about you? Anybody ever try to push anything on you?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It was like I felt. It didn't feel good. I said no, But it was like I didn't want to lose that friend. So I wanted to say yes, but I said no because I didn't want to lose that friend.
No temptation to just see what it's like before you say no?
No.
No. What have your parents said about drugs to you?
They tell me that it's a bad thing because I'm a student athlete. So they tell me it's bad for my body. I shouldn't do it. And yeah, it's bad.
It's great being an athlete and having that excuse to say to somebody, isn't it? Especially somebody who's a friend trying to get you to try something. Max, what about you? Any experience with people trying to get you to buy drugs?
Personally, a few of my friends have asked me to do drugs with them, but I've told them no. It's not very hard for me to say no to them because before becoming friends with me, they knew that I wouldn't do that. So normally they just rub it off because they know that I'm gonna say no, because they just know that I'm like that.
Can you put together enough of a friend group that you have your group that everybody knows would not touch drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could say so. I would definitely say like an influence on drugs comes from like different like mental things that teens go through. So like they use it as a distraction or to not feel the things that they go through in their lives. So that's probably a way that I've definitely seen it be prominent in an area.
Well, and of the kids that you know are doing drugs, are most of them doing okay in school?
For the most part, I feel like they do these drugs, but they also realize that it's more of a personal thing. They're not enforcing it on anybody else, and it's bad for them. But most of the time, the people I know, it isn't really affecting their school life because they're still young, and these implications that it has, these drugs, they won't realize it until much later. So they're still going to be doing fine in school, and social life might be fine, but then I'm sure they'll realize later when they mature and when they get older that this is bad for you, and it's actually going to have some implications on them.
So from your observations, how young do kids start using drugs?
Middle school.
As young as they want.
Middle school.
Well, middle school.
Yeah.
And the drugs are out there in the middle school. Do the teachers know it?
No. Some teachers do. They'll like speak up about it, or they just keep it to themselves. But I feel like the adults around you will know. But sometimes they'll turn their head to it, or they'll just think that you do it, but they don't want to accept that you do it.
I see. But no one has ever, that you know of, has ever been called aside by a teacher or a principal or somebody at the school and say, we know what's going on, you got to stop this?
I have.
You've seen that happen?
Before.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's good to know that somebody's keeping an eye on the kids. What about parents? Do you think parents are speaking out against drugs to their kids, and does it work?
Yeah, some of it. Like, back to what EJ was saying, that's my best friend, so our parents are in like the same circle, so they give us the same talk because we're both student athletes, and they really do care about our future, but some parents, they do it themselves, so they don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
So that's what I was saying earlier about how some of the kids provide it and then they want to go distribute it like how their parents were doing.
Yeah, well, if you see your parents doing it, I guess it's easy to think it's okay. We're going to take a break and come back and finish this wonderful conversation. You guys are giving us, all of us, a lot of food for thought. We'll be right back.